All right, Dad. Getting ready to move on to sort of the next stages here. Pulled out the boot lid, put it on just to see how well it would fit. It's in pretty rough shape. It's all holed in these corners, holed in this corner. Okay, so we'll have some serious significant work to do. The X frame that's underneath here is also pretty badly rusted down in here. Same along here on the back side, along here on the back side. So I'm gonna end up fabricating a new boot lid. Shouldn't be too bad, but I'll have to do some surgery on this boot lid. I'm gonna actually go under the house and see if I have any more, any other. I know I have other ones down there, and see if it's the same style of X piece across here. Maybe there's one that's better. But in any case, these are so soft, I can just sort of twist and bend them to fit, and it fits okay, you know, when I push on it. But when I come in here and I can adjust these as I go. Essentially, you know, I will have this piece here and this piece here as the template for the lower part of the boot lid. And the top of the floor, it'll just be sort of this cross piece here, right? So I can, just from the ruler, I can see what kind of shape we're dealing with. You know, you can see there's the shape across left to right. This is a little flat in the middle at the top, and then there's shape here. There's more shape as you move from the center all the way across here, so you can see. In the valley here, in this return, there's not very much shape. It's pretty flat all the way across, which makes that a much easier fabrication. Essentially, if this thing has no shape this way, then all I need to do is bend the metal, just bend it across here to get the shape I need, and I'm not having to worry about maintaining this as I create that. You know, that's a saddle basically if we have shape this way. Right now it's just bent metal, so that's easy to do, and so we shall see how this all goes together, but I just wanted to sort of walk you through where I'm at. All right, Dad, starting to work on this boot lid. Time to pick it apart. It's held together on the front and back edges by a series of spot welds across here. This edge is turned over and spot welded then to the inner frame across here. The angle here is about 65 degrees, so that when I go back, I'll try to get that close. The edges are turned over, but in a interesting way. You can see it's not just folded onto a flat. It's got a gap there for strengthening, and so that looks okay. I'll have to fabricate a little tool to help me get that turned over. You can see things are coming apart okay. I'll just continue on along. It looks like these corners are welded together, and there's a little bit of a series of seam weld here between the inner frame and the skin, so I'll just have to grind that away when I take it apart. The fabrication side is to turn this to 90, spot weld it, and then turn it the last bit, because I don't think I can get my spot welder in there when it's turned over so far. So anyways, just a few mental notes here for later. Okay, Dad, I've picked apart this frame. You can see here, that's what's left over. It wasn't too bad underneath there, actually. It's a lot of surface rust, but That wasn't the problem, it was these corners. And that was the problem. All four of them were in bad shape. Frame, this is what I'm keeping. This all looks pretty decent. And so, of course, these corners will need to be replaced. And so, you know, you can see lots of holes through there. So these are totally trashed. So I'm just gonna do some wire wheeling and clean these up a little bit where it looks like it's good metal, and doesn't look like this will be too much of a big job. It's possible that I will just go ahead and drill out the spot welds on these plates, replace those plates, spot them, you know, just get some paint underneath there and spot weld them back on. I'll have to take them off, at least in the bottom corners anyways, because of all the rust that's underneath here. So, but anyways, I'm moving them forward here, and it's pouring rain outside, so I'll probably wait to do this wire wheeling work. Just clean up a little bit, keep things going, moving forward. Okay, a little wire wheeling sort of reveals the top piece here. This, of course, is pitted and rusty, but not very many holes. So I think this is a repair, and so I'm going to do that. 16 gauge. The lower cross piece is a write-off, so it will require extensive work. So my plan is to just remake that entire piece. I just need to get some 16 gauge that's long enough. My pieces right now are a little too short for that, but a little bit of work in here to get this set up, but should be a fairly straightforward repair. Might take me a little bit of time, but not a bit. All right, Dad, working on this frame. I'm trying to pick it apart really carefully, pull the frame out, and then this lower cross piece needs to be replaced. These just have these plates that were trying, you know, just to strengthen by triangulation, and so there was nothing underneath it, so I drilled that out. All these pieces are held together by a seam weld that just goes right through here. So what I decided to do was to take off the plate, leave the seam weld so it's held together. It's pretty solid. And then put the new plate on, and then just put some Clecos on. So this will just hold that in place. And now that this is, you know, I can take that on and take it off, and I should be able to get it back to the same location. Now I can do the same on the other side, and then start fabricating this centerpiece. It's got a little bit of a funniness here in the center. It's got a wow here. That hole captures the locking assembly, swivel bit. So I'll have to make that. So I think probably what I'll do is I'll make this in 3 pieces. I'll work on the centerpiece to make sure I can figure out how to get that. It's a little raised here. I think that it's raised so that it sort of fits flush onto the panel, body panel. So I'll just try to reproduce that. Shouldn't be too hard to do that. And anyways, I like the way that turned out. So I'm gonna do the same on the other side and keep moving along. Okay, Dad, moving things along. Made this cross support piece here from 3 sections. Made a hammer form to create this bulge out here. It was not too bad. This is just 290 degrees on here at this point. It's all 16 gauge, so it sort of pushes the limits of my Harbor Freight bender. But with some hammer dolly work, you can get it to where it needs to be. And so then it's just a matter of matching up that shape and using a profile gauge to dial that in with the shrinker stretcher. So it's not quite there yet, but getting closer. Trim it up to size as when I get to that point. When I'm done shaping it, this one has to go back up that way. I'll need to drill a hole here for this lock mechanism, and I'll have to mess around with that shaping there just to get it on the back side here. Just hammer out with a little bit of a raised section there. But all in all, it's coming together and making progress. So that's what we need to do. All right, Dad, back from visiting you. All right, this morning I just sort of ground down the weld that connects this lower piece, side of that seat, and the rest of the cross frame. This is the one I fabricated to replace it. I had to do a little bit of work in here to create this depression here where this backer plate sits. So I'm gonna take out the clecos, position this. I made a bunch of measurements on the back side here. Try to place this in the right spot. See how it all fits. All right, Dad. Gone and made the cut. Put in the new brace here. It's all clecoed in. It's just sort of sitting in I've got it bolted up in the top bolt holes. So it all sort of is kind of as well shaped as it's going to be. My main problem here is that the rubber, the rubber seal sits proud, so it pushes the whole thing up. So, but even if I push it down, you can see I'm still proud here. I'm still proud here. So this needs a little more shaping. It needs to go deeper and come back up. So I'll pull this off, take the clecos out, and work that shape so that it just sits a little bit deeper and matches this profile here. All right, so not done yet, but making progress. All right, there's a little bit more tweaking. It sits a little high still, but that's the rubber seal underneath it. If I pull it out, it drops down and lets me get that to fit just fine. So I think I'm gonna leave that there and call that section done. All right, Dad, this frame's just about done. As I fabricated this bottom piece as I showed you last time, and then today I fabricated the one across the top. So new plates, new corner plates. It's all fit in pretty well now, and it opens and closes. Here we go. You can see that. Or maybe you can, maybe you can't. But anyways, that'll be ready for painting and finishing. And then I might do a few more little tweaks here just to make sure it all fits just fine, just nicely. But overall, I'm happy with how that turned out. And so now that's ready for the bonnet skin. And the bonnet skin is right there. And I've been making some progress on that, but I'll show you that video next time. All right, I think I'm gonna end it here. Hope you're doing okay, Dad. It was great seeing you for Father's Day, and I hope the rest of the summer goes great. Talk to you soon. Bye.